I'm glad you. Hello, everyone.
Hey everyone.
Hey, guys. Um, we were talking behind the scenes because Maya. It's Maya. But we were talking, and I like how you put how it's like that sci-fi '80s feel.
hmm
When I kind of read this, what's that Smith movie that has the apocalypse and they're trying to get him and um it kind of feels like that. Oh God, let me see. I'm gonna find it. Because they have the second movie coming out.
It's just very Patternmaster is very much it's very much 80s sci-fi, high fantasy. Hey Jessica, hey cool gamer.
Hey Jessica. Hey cool gamer. How are you? But yeah, it's definitely giving.
This is my so I have this version
That's the one I have.
and then I also have this other one. Let me
That's
take it
right.
out the plastic.
You got the special edition.
Yeah, with the gnarly like White Brothers on the cover, and then the clay
Yeah,
art,
K Arcs creatures.
and
Man,
then Rael in the background
where did you get that from?
from eBay. And it also has like the thing they used to do in the 70s and 80s with the printed sides.
mm,
So it's got like red printed sides.
you are fancy.
I love my special edition Octavia Butler books. I had to get a special edition for each, whatever that was available. So I was like, okay, what should I get for Patternmaster? And I decided to get the original for Patternmaster because I got a deal on the Mind of My Mind and it came with Patternmaster.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
I think each of them are like $100 each, but in the deal I got them for $50 both together. So it
Wow,
was pretty good.
for Octavia, that's really good.
Yeah.
Legend. Legend is a movie
Oh, legend.
where he's like running after people or trying to hide from people, and to me, it was kind of like that, where creepy individual people trying to you know. But that's kind of like how I was looking at it when they escaped, and I was like, okay, they're trying to get to this I don't even remember what it's called. What's the location they're trying to get to? Um
Forsyth.
Foresight. They're trying to get there, and I was like, okay, that sounds like Legend, where they're trying to get to Foresight.
Yeah.
Um
It's just I think out of all of the Octavia Butler books that I've read, which I actually haven't read all of them, I would say Pattern Master and Fledgling are ranked my lowest.
Fledgling?
Yes, Pattern Master and
Really?
Fledgling, and then when we finally get to
That's the vampire
Fledgling,
one, right?
yeah, that's the vampire one. So
Oh,
when we finally get to Fledgling, I'll be able to like we'll be able to talk about it, and I'll finally be able to like this is why, guys,
I
because I finished
love
the book
vampires.
and I finished Fledgling and I was just so disappointed. I just remember closing it and just being like, ah. I gotta rate you kind of bad though. Like,
Yeah.
oh, and that's how it was for Pattern Master. It's like you read it, and then it's very evident that Pattern Master was Octavia Butler's first book, but it's also evident that there's some talent in there.
Oh yeah.
Right. There's some talent in the way the story is told, the way the story is written, and even though it's not one of my favorites, I don't mind reading it because it is an Octavia Butler book. So I actually have to read this again because I started yesterday and finished this morning. And my boyfriend reads kind of slow. We were reading it together. So I got to go back and finish it again with him, start over again with him. So,
Yeah.
it is not one of my favorites. I wish I had to read over Wild Seed.
Yeah. I can appreciate. I mean, I know that this was not the series that online recommends reading it as far as like this being book 4. Um but I appreciate the connecting with the Clay's arc and the Patternist, and them coming together in one book. I can appreciate that, but like you said, this was not. This was not it. Like, I get. I hate that I had to rate this so low. It is, but it is. I still love sci-fi. I still love Octavia Butler. But this clearly this was a big miss. I still don't even understand the most of the plot because I just remember reading it and just being like and like, okay, you're trying to get somewhere, and for what, and then what, and then okay, and then what, and come on, drop a plot twist or something. Like, the only thing that I remembered like being shocked about was one of the characters was pregnant, and they basically, the way I interpret it is that they set up pregnancies. They, like, you're not allowed to just have kids. So, he kept saying like, I'm surprised he hasn't killed it yet. I'm surprised he hasn't done this. I'm surprised he hasn't done. And that was it. And I was like, and like, I don't know. I was so disappointed. I'm kind of disappointed that fledgling that you said that fledgling, is also one of your least favorite Octavia Butler books as well, because I am obsessed with vampires. The
Especially,
only, reason, the only reason why this is happening is because my bestie ML was like, you have to read Fledgling. I need to
yeah,
talk to somebody about it.
so many people love Fledgling, and the thing is, I love the story, but there's parts in the story that make me so uncomfortable that I had to read it low,
Oh,
and
okay.
that's what it is. It's not that the story was bad,
It's the
because
content.
you're reading it and you're just like, damn, like, okay, is this a mystery? I'm trying to get into this. Like, what's happening here?
Mm-hmm.
But there was content within it. Um,
That
you
was a bit
know,
too much.
yes, that I was just like, ooh, I have to kind of rate this a little bit low.
Yeah.
And that was only my first read, so all of my reads have actually changed my ratings,
Mm-hmm.
and so far everything has gone up. I gave Patternmaster a 3, and
Mm-hmm.
then this time I gave it a 3.5. And I gave it a 3.5 because the point 5 was from that last fight scene.
Yeah.
Like, it was just so visceral that I kept having to take my headphones off, like, oh my god, ah. And like, even though I knew what happened, it was just like, oh, his bones, he bit his tongue off, like, oh, it was just. And she wrote it so powerfully that I felt like, I felt physically sick.
Yeah. I could definitely put the image there for sure.
Mhm.
Hey, Elises. Hey,
Hey,
Nora.
Mama Nora.
Um, how are you doing, Mama Nora? Hey, Jira. How are you always the first one here? Look, she is the goat. I think I'm the only one who liked Patternmaster. Tell us more.
Yeah,
Tell us
I
more
would love
about.
to hear like more about that.
Yeah, I want to know.
It's
That's how I roll with the Virgo thing. I gotta be early and first.
oh,
So
I
competitive.
went and changed my rating to a 2.
Yeah, it was a four.
Octavia Butler scoring a 2 out of 5.
Yes, I gave
Uh,
it a two as well.
I have a question for Mama Nora and Jessica. Do you two listen to audiobooks together, or do you read the books that we're reading separately?
How does the buddy reads go? That is a good
Yeah,
question.
like do you guys read, and do you read them like chapter by chapter and then discuss each chapter with each other. I
Yeah.
would do that. I'm such a nerd.
That's what me and my daughter do.
That
When we read,
sounds so
we discuss it.
fun.
We discuss it afterwards, after each chapter. And
That
then
sounds.
um, most of the time, lately we've been um, having two sets of books. And so I'll have a set, she'll have a set, and then she'll read one paragraph at a time. I'll read one paragraph at a time. And at the end of the chapter, we'll discuss it.
Oh,
That's with the kiddo, though.
I love that.
Nobody wants a buddy read with me like that and read and start a book at the same time.
I will start a book with you and Buddy Read. I have
Really?
never done an yes, I have never done an official buddy read. Every time I get ready to, something happens and the other person's like, sorry, I work is like really busy, and I'm just like, I understand. Life is
Yeah,
hard.
life is hard, but
Mm-hmm.
what's 30 minutes? You know what I'm saying? What's 30 minutes?
Right.
Nothing. Nothing. Oh my god, my son is a Virgo, and if he is not at least 2 minutes early, he's freaking out. I'm like, whose child is you? If I arrive too soon, I'm anxious and pacing. But if I arrive too soon, I'm not getting out the car anywhere. Okay? I'm not getting out the car. I'm gonna sit there because I said I was gonna come at this time. But I do understand that if you're on time, you're late.
Yeah.
So if you arrive on time, you're early. So or however that saying goes. But yeah, just finished with Promise Volume 1. That's good. I can't wait to get to fledgling. Me either.
I'm excited to get to it because I do feel like my opinion is going to shift. Just
Yeah.
like all of my opinions on all of the books we've read so
On
far
things,
have,
yeah.
yep, they've shifted. So, um, I think it'll shift. And now that it's not such a shock,
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe I'm. I'll see how I score it. I really like the storyline.
Of fledgling.
Yeah.
That's the one book I still don't have.
Oh, I.
So I need to get it. I will get it. And I want to look at her other books. I know we're supposed to be talking about Pattermaster, but I do want to look at. I don't. I think I have most of her books that we're
Yeah.
reading this year, but I definitely know that there's some out there that I have not added to our TBR for or the schedule. So I mean, she's an amazing sci-fi author, and I appreciate that. So even though I did not enjoy this book, and I remember just reading it and just feeling like, and okay, God, like you're making me feel like it's high stakes, but what are we high staking? Like life, death, brothers, cousins, kids. Is this how it is? Is this the world that y'all built and y'all just doing? Oh, come on, it's a bunch of men power tripping about power, and to me, I was just like, and first of all, it's sci-fi. Why are the women not in charge? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It was just like, okay. That's how I felt.
I was just like, so essentially, your brother beat your ass and almost killed you, kept you around to toy with you, and now y'all are just playing back and forth? Okay.
Yeah.
That's like, am I supposed to care? Because I don't.
At all.
This is written well. But do I care? Like,
Yes, help me care to care. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think after Clay's arc for me, I enjoyed the creature like it. I appreciate that they have evolved into something different where they're more animal like, which just made it weirder. But the Pattermaster, y'all didn't learn from y'all mistakes of y'all ancestors. Like, come on, come on.
I do like the aspect that not inside the story, but outside the story, how Octavia Butler wrote this backwards. So she started with Pattermaster, and
Mm-hmm.
then she went backwards and did, I want to say, Mind of My Mind, and then Clayzarg, and then Wild Seed was the last to be made. So
Mm-hmm.
I did like how she was able to take something and then create an entire series going backwards.
Going backwards
I
and
think that
breaking
was
it
pretty
down,
cool.
because
Hmm.
that way we would have seen the breakdown of the evolution of going back in time and how things started. I really wish I would have read it in that order.
Yeah, some people
I
do read it in that
really
order.
wish. Oh, I would have.
My thing is that
In
if
order.
someone hasn't read Octavia Butler before, and then their first read is Patternmaster, are they going to keep reading Octavia Butler?
That's true.
Like,
Because Laura, that book,
it's
Wild
her.
Seed.
Yeah, that is
Yeah,
so
definitely
powerful.
that book. Loved it.
Hmm.
Man, I miss those characters.
Wild Seed was my first Octavia Butler book, and just like, sci-fi can do this. This black woman who's a healer and she can manipulate her body and change into animals,
Mhm.
and then this African immortal, like, what? It was just amazing. It blew me away. And I guess, that's her fourth book, so she's finally writing. Not her fourth book. I think she's written books in between, but that's her fourth book in the series, and she's written other books by then. So at this point, she's got more experience writing books, and so she knows how to make you care about the characters.
Yeah.
Because Pattern Master was kind of lacking the care. And I believe the story is actually 188 pages total, so there's just not a lot of space, and she did not really include enough character development to make you care about any of the characters or give a damn about the story in general. Like, the only one I actually I was concerned about Iray,
Mm-hmm.
because it was the whole thing of like, well, now you have to leave your husband to go sleep with his brother, and
Right.
you're trapped. And I was just like, oh no, like, but it ended up working out for her because she felt like she was appreciated in his court. And I think that was because, I don't remember the brother's name, but the brother spited the main character so much that he was just like, I'm gonna treat your bitch great. And I'm gonna make her love me so she doesn't want to go back to you. And so I was worried about Iray, and then I had just forgot her name. I think with an A, Amber.
Mm-hmm.
Um
There's an Ember.
yeah, and then I was worried about Amber because she seemed really cool and she was a healer, and she reminded me of a lot of Anyanwu with the whole like, okay, well, I'm pregnant. I made myself
Yeah.
pregnant. Oh, it's only a cluster of cells because it's only by like a couple of days, but
Yep.
I'm pregnant because
That's
I
the
made myself
only
pregnant.
plot twist I enjoyed, because everything else was just like,
Very dry.
I was not expecting it.
And I wonder how
No.
much she was writing in the style of the men of her time.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people say that she was like the first black woman to come out and write black sci-fi, and not black sci-fi in general, but the first black woman to become popularized after writing black sci-fi. And at the time, there were very few writers. I know I posted, it was sometime last year, a picture of Octavia Butler, and Tanana Reevdu was in the
Yep.
picture, and then I know him by his nickname Chip, but I can't think of his author name. I have to look it up. But there was a picture of Octavia Butler a while ago, and it was like her and some other black sci-fi writers and black fantasy writers, and
It'd be like 10 people, and that's it.
it was literally like five people in the picture total. And so I wonder how much he was writing like the white men of her time, like the white men of that time. Okay, so in the picture is Octavia Butler with authors Tananarive Du,
Mm-hmm.
Joelle Gomez, Samuel R. Delaney, whose nickname is Chip, and Stephen Barnes, who ended up marrying Tananarive Du. So
Yeah,
Tananarive Du are married. They're married. This picture was taken in 1997 at Clark University Conference for African American science fiction writers, and it was the first of its kind.
that's crazy.
And so
And
back,
that makes a
like,
good point. And you definitely see the like you said, you definitely see the growth within her writing between this book and I didn't even think about publication dates. Like I'm being perfectly honest when I didn't even think about that. But when I closed the book and I was finished, I was like, this is so different. Like, they've came together. The last two books 2 and 3, have come together and merged into a book. And I'm just like, what has changed? But it makes a big, I mean, now that I know, like, this was her first book. I get it. I get it for
yeah,
sure.
I
And
think she's
people
trying to
have,
find. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
oh no, you're perfectly fine. But like you were saying with the sci-fi black authors, like we didn't have that. But I definitely see how you made that connection with the environment that it was in back then when this book was published. I think it was like 80, what is it, 84?
79, 1979.
I have 76.
Oh, okay. Oh, so
And then
okay, never mind. That makes sense.
1987 was they added the dawn in the back of the book in 1987.
Oh, okay.
So, and then it was reprinted 2020.
So it was written in the 70s, like in the
Yeah, it was a
76.
so
And so she was the only, black woman writing sci-fi around that time, and so all of her colleagues would have just been all white men.
white men.
So
This
I'm
definitely would cater towards that
yeah,
sci-fi white men. You
it,
know,
it was very political. It was very like there were roles in society, and like how you mentioned earlier, certain people couldn't have children, and the outsiders weren't allowed to have children without the permission of the housemaster, and it was just very hierarchical. Um, and I think it focused too much on the hierarchy, but it just ended up being very dry, high sci-fi, high fantasy, very something that I would read and then be like, I don't think I like this author. But it's so surprising because I want to say Pattermaster is not like any of her other books. So Pattermaster is one that a lot of people are like, okay, we can tell it's her first book.
hmm
And then everything else kind of goes uphill from there.
yeah,
I think after this, we're reading, I want to say, what is it, Parables?
Blood Child.
No, Bloodchild. Oh, Bloodchild is my favorite. It's just, I'm going to say this every time we read a new book. Oh, this is my favorite Octavia Butler. This book is my favorite. Bloodchild is, it's,
Blood
we're going
Child
to get
would
to
be
it.
great,
And it's
great.
going to be
It
so
won a
good.
Nubian prize, right? A
It
Nubia.
won,
One of the stories did.
yeah, it did. It was,
I want to say Blood
I'm
Child.
pretty sure it was Bloodchild, the title story that won the Nebula.
Yeah, Blood Child and Speech Sounds.
Yeah. Which Speech Sounds, between Bloodchild and Speech Sounds, I think Speech Sounds is my favorite short story by Octavia Butler, like of all time. Like that's just my favorite short story by her. Bloodchild is not my favorite because it creeps me out because I have a fear of what's in it. So it just creeps me out, and I'm like, ew.
I can't wait. I
But
cannot
she
wait.
was so good, and she was so good at like the creep factor in her books. I read Dawn, and at the beginning of this
Yeah,
year in
we're reading Dawn
January,
too.
that made me sick. I was like, huh. It was terrible. It made me sick. But
I can't wait to reread or for you to reread that
yep.
because we're definitely reading it.
Yep. In Bloodchild, at the end of every short story, there's an author note where she kind of like talks about the story and where the idea came from. And I thought that was really cool to be able to see inside the mind of Octavia Butler. Um, and I don't know if Bloodchild has essays in it too, or if it's just the short
It does.
stories. Okay.
Mine have essays in them.
Okay.
It has 2 essays. So positive obsession, inferior scribini, scrib, uh, Yeah.
I don't know how
Din-
to pronounce it either.
Dindi.
Yeah.
I'm phonetically trying to sound that out, but yeah. Something like that. So, and then there's 2 new stories
Yep.
as well. So, this is the Blood Child book that I have. It's pretty short, like honestly. I might order another copy because I hate small books.
When they
Like
don't. Oh. Mm-hmm.
I really do. Like look at the difference. Like
It's so small.
it's literally a child of a book. So
Seven Stories Press just came out with a new edition of Blood Child, and it has art by oh, I'm blanking on his name. He does really beautiful art. He did art for the N.K. Jemisin no How Long Till Black Future Month,
mhm.
and it was like a special edition of it from I think Subterranean Press.
Oh yes, I hate subterranean press.
Oh, see, it costs so much, and no one can ever buy anything from that.
Yeah, they are horrible. I hope Mama Nora's gets better. I buddy read with you. I just keep my buddy reads incognito. Look, buddy read with me too. Okay, I want to know.
Yes.
I want to learn your goat ways. Okay, I know you read 1,000 books a year, but I want to learn too. We ain't that. We ain't that together. We read ebooks separately. She's weak. Reads way faster than me, so I try to read book club books before her. But we should do it, buddy read. You should. I just didn't want you to expect us reading. Yeah, we're not reading right now. Thought it was okay until I read the note at the end of the book, knowing that all this was written first. Put things in perspective. Yeah, I didn't. I finished the book and I shut it. Nah,
Yeah.
I was just like, whatever. The last few pages are back there, and that's it. Like,
I just like it's so unfulfilling when you get to the end and you're just like, so all right.
this on point. Like she definitely. We are the smartest in all of her books so far. I mean, that I've read. Women have been the smartest, and men are the ones being dumb, power tripping. You know.
Yep.
Nora says it's a product of its time. It was written, and that's why it got 2 stars. Yeah,
It was written, and that's why I got two
well
stars.
written.
It was well written, and that's why I
Yeah.
got 2 stars. Yeah.
Let's see. Wild Sea shows her growth as a writer, definitely for sure.
Yes, it does.
But a book for just being honest. Yeah.
Hey, I don't think a lot of you would have. I think a lot of you would have been like, this author is not very good. And I would have been
Mhm.
like, no, wait.
Yeah. I got a 7-story press edition of Blood Trials and Other Stories, fledgling and parable books. I can't wait to crack them open.
Yeah, if you
When
can,
did that happen?
it's still available, so you can still get them.
Oh,
Yeah. I hate eBay, but
right.
not eBay. I hate Amazon, meh. So if you check on Amazon, they're still on Amazon. I know, but I know Sister Sci-Fi has them, so I'll send you the link. Um, Sister Sci-Fi. Let me see if I can find that.
You said subterranean press?
No, for that one, it's Seven Stories Press.
Oh, 7 stories press.
Yeah.
Okay, because subterranean press, I freaking hate.
I got one thing from Subterranean Press. It's an Octavia Butler book, Unexpected Stories, and I got it from eBay from someone who lives in Germany. They just happened to be one of the people who bought it, and I was like, thank goodness I don't have to deal with Subterranean Press on their own because
Yo,
that seems so stressful.
I bought a book for them from them last year for the first time, and it was the Greenbone Saga.
Oh,
I
the
didn't get it until later on. Yeah, It was part of Jade City, Jade. Oh,
Jade
here goes.
War and
Mm-hmm. It was a prequel. Paid like 60, $70 for it, and it was just, oh, I'm so mad.
was it not good or was it just because you had to wait so damn long?
I had to. Well, it was because I had to wait long, but um, they they messed up on printing. So they printed the book, the cover, taller than the pages, and the cover was sticking out on the sides as well.
Oh my
Um, they
god.
really jacked up a bunch of things. Really messed it up.
Were they able to fix it or they didn't even bother fixing it?
They didn't even bother fixing it. They just told people if you want a refund, let us know.
Wow.
Ooh, this comes with the slipcover. Ooh, I might have to get this.
Aren't they pretty?
So pretty.
And the art, that's who his name is. I couldn't remember it and I just remembered it. Paul Lewin. Paul Lewin does the art
Mm,
on these hardcovers, and for some reason, Parable of the Talents and Parable of the Sower are trying to sell separately, but I
yeah,
know for a fact there was a pack with them in it. There we go. I found it. I was
perfect.
gonna say there's no way I'm gonna send this separately to you because they want like $40 for each one. That's ridiculous. It's $30 for both of them, I think. Yeah,
I
$35 for
have
total.
I think Jira actually bought my books for me, but this is the Amazon, and it's a box set. So,
Yeah, that's the Seven Stories Press one.
oh, it is.
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
Yep.
Dang, it is.
It's
Thank
so
you, Jira.
pretty.
It is so pretty.
I love them.
That is so cute. So, and I still have the note that she gave me.
Oh, that's so
Yeah.
sweet.
So I have this. I just need to get the fledgling, and I want the one. I think another birthday note. I want the one that kind of looks like this that has the same artwork. And I found Blood Child, so I'm gonna get that as well. So I'll get Fledgling and Blood Child as well off of Seven Stories Press.
They're so beautiful. I just love the art
I
and
love that they took advantage of all of the space, including the top. Like they did not skimp on any area of the box. So we have, Octavia here, the artwork, of course, and then over on the side as well. So usually there's nothing really on top or the bottom, but there's definitely still artwork.
yeah.
So I definitely appreciate that they did that. Anyway, so let's see. This one line that I always say we're leaving and such. Never make it. You guys are funny. This and Survivor were such disappointments. Well, in all fairness, Survivor can't count because
It wasn't finished.
it wasn't finished. She did not, thank you for the links. I really appreciate it. She did not want to publish. She pulled it off. Like, not how many authors are going to do that? You know? I was over it and I needed, didn't need no notes.
No.
None. The book backwards is pretty inspiring and cray, but all inspiring.
Yep.
I completely agree. I completely agree. If we would have read it backwards, yes, it would have started off little, just little, but at the same time, it would have ended with a bang. We would have saw the evolution of like sci-fi, futuristic versus going back in time and seeing her evolve in her writing.
Yeah. Yep.
So I completely agree. Even I mean, no matter what, as a sci-fi writer, I mean, she did an amazing job at the story. the plot was missing, the care for the story was missing, but still, like, I don't have that much creativity to come up with Clay's arc and creatures and telekinetic human beings and healers. I couldn't do that. I couldn't come up with that.
Neither could I.
She's definitely great at what she does. I know she could write because this is my first. Kendrick gave me the uber creeps and I had to walk away several times. Which is why I understand that some people cannot read her every single month
Yeah.
because of how, emotionally it's just a lot too. So some of these definitely should be horror. Like categories horror. I want to cry, and the level of anxiety that both the book and graphic novel gave me each time was enough to not read for a few weeks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
It's very like
I've seen the TV show, but I've never.
it's the TV show is so different than the book. And she said like this is my slavery novel. Like, and the reason why she wrote it is because I believe he was the creator of Kwanzaa, and she had a class with him in college, and he was saying, um, all these older generation, I would just kill them if I could, but I would have to start off with my own parents. I would just wipe them out if I could. And then he began to talk about slavery, and he just kept saying, back in the slavery days, they did this and this and this, but I would have done this. And so she said, you don't really know what you would have done. Like, so she wrote a story about someone who does go back in time, and she shows, what it would be like to go back in time. Which is why she wrote that story. And it's a very powerful story, but it's very harrowing and sad and emotional.
Yeah, I can see that. I can definitely see that. I mean, like, I haven't read it, but from the TV perspective alone, it was extremely emotional.
Yeah.
I read it, so it counts. I completely agree. Overall, it's still incredible, and I rate the series as a whole very highly.
Mm-hmm.
As a whole, it definitely has me appreciating Octavia E for, I mean, just being an amazing fantasy sci-fi writer. I mean, again, who was doing this? No one.
Right.
No,
Right.
not really. Like you said, even the photo that you were referencing, what was that, the 90s?
1997.
Yeah, she was doing this way before then,
Yep.
and doing it, as a black woman,
She
as a
had been doing
writer.
this in the 70s, and she started in the 70s. And well, she started before that. She started writing
Before
stories when she
then,
was a kid.
yeah, she didn't get anything published until the
No, but until the 70s, she finally got published, and she had been writing wild stories ever since, up until the 2000s of her passing in 2006.
70s.
So
Okay.
she was a very powerful writer.
I was nervous reading Kindred. I was waiting for something to happen that would have deflated me completely, but it didn't. But the anticipation emotionally drained me.
Mm-hmm.
I see that. I'm so glad that we have the schedule that we do have, because the intent was to read a series, read a single novel, and then jump into the series, read a single novel. And so, luckily, Kindred is the book that we will be reading at the end. And I know how impactful that is for people. Um, when we were talking about this last year, um, well, I'm sure it was Jessica, Elise's, Jira, and then my friend ML. We were talking about making the series, like they just kept bringing up Kindred. I was like, we got to say that for last. I know, like I said, I seen the TV show, and anything that has to do with slavery in general is just heartbreaking and hard to read in general. Um, but I can't wait. I'm glad we're saving that story at the end, and I cannot wait to read it with everyone because that's going to be a fun time. So
Yeah.
yeah, I really, as a whole, for the Patternist series, um, what do you What do you rate it as?
Um, the only one that I don't really like is Pattermaster,
Mm-hmm.
and even still, I gave that a 3.5. So I would say a 4.5 for the series.
For the series as a whole?
Yeah. Yeah. The Wild Seed gets actually a 4 because I rated, if I remember correctly, I rated everything a 4.5 so far.
Yeah.
And then Pattern Masters the 3.5, so it brings it down. So I would say a 4 for the entire series.
Um, I would definitely agree with you. I think overall the series is a 4. I think we're not going to include Survivor, guys, because again, that was optional for people to read, and it's not published officially, so I'm not going to rate that. Um, Powdermaster is definitely my least favorite, but as a whole, Wild Seed, Mind of My Mind, I even somewhat enjoyed the Clay's arc, the whole just eerie, creepy,
The
you know,
thriller
the
vibes.
thriller part of it. Um, that is me. Like I love a good fantasy thrill, like the suspense. Are they going to scratch you? Are you going to, plus it was a lot of hard topics in that book as well,
Yep.
discussed. But as a whole, I rated a 4 as a series. It is definitely something that I could potentially reread. I would probably read it differently. I would read it, starting with Pattermaster and working my way to the first book. You guys make great points. I'm glad we read Wild Sea because it did motivate me to keep going with the series.
Yeah.
But now that I know that, I want to see the evolution. I want to see
Mhm.
from the beginning of where she started, to going back in time and seeing how Clay's arc was developed, how Pattermaster was developed, and then seeing the original hoe, pimp, and that started this whole bullshit. Like I want to see all of that.
Nasty ass Doro.
Nasty ass. So I miss Doro.
Oh,
Fucking asshole.
makes
I
my
miss.
skin crawl. Ugh. Just immortal shape, body snatching, nasty ass.
Hey man, you want me as a white man, as a female? What you want me as? What you want me as? Wild Seed and Mind of My Mind, I'm still are just. I still think about them.
So good.
Doro. Anytime we're talking about a hoe, if I bring up Doro for the, in the future, just know, okay? For whatever reason, I hated his guts.
Mm-hmm.
I did, but I enjoyed reading the fuck out of him.
It's so messy. He's so
Very
messy.
messy,
Yep.
just nasty, controlling. But what he was doing was, I mean, it was awful in the beginning. But now that
Ugh.
I've read all these other books, and I'm like, all we needed was Dora to come here. If Dora was in this book, come here and shut this shit down. They did mention that Dora was killed by his
His
daughter.
daughter. Yep.
They did mention that, but they ain't learned their lesson.
That's how I was like, she came up with all this in 188 pages, like the story of the Pattern Master, and then she was talking about Clay's arc, and she was like, and the Clay's arc, they built the arc, and it was the only spaceship to the only starship to go to space and come back, and then the Clay arc's disease changed him because of that. And
Mm-hmm.
she came up with everything in that one book and then just went backwards from there. That
And
is masterful.
took it apart and
Yep.
created 3 other books. Like
Yep.
that is genius.
Yes. That was amazing.
I love that. I love that you put that like that because that's exactly what she did. Um, where she took Pattern Master, had all of these things, and split them up. You get a book, you get a book, you get a book, you get a book, and well, technically there was only 3 others, but still, she took it apart. So
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Um,
Daddy Doro.
I know I saw that. I was like, hold on, let me get to the. I'm reading it because I'm a Virgo, and again, that's just how I roll. Look, mm-mm, I get it. My top two words: wild seed and mind in my mind. Absolutely. Number one, wild seed. Two, mind in my mind. Clay's arc and Pattermaster are tied for third. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I still like the thrill of, but I'm just a thriller person. Like I like the suspense.
It was
Um,
so the chef's kiss was a
yes, that
thriller.
ending of like how they went out in Clay's arc, baby. Those women, those young girls, were like, "You not taking us."
No.
Like she lit the place up.
I said light him up. Light him
Right.
up, light him up.
She was like, everybody about to get taken out before I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Baby, oh God, it was kind of eerie and creepy reading it, but knowing that moving forward, we know Octavia is gonna give you that thrill, that
Yeah.
suspense, that horror-ish feel. I still say they're horror because if it messes with your emotions that much, that is
Hmm.
horror. Tanana
Yep.
Review is very good at that, where she will make you feel something, and that's her horror, the way she writes. But yeah, I knowing that moving forward, knowing that we're gonna get that with Octavia Butler, like I'm prepared. He was nasty as hell, and she wrote and broke Pimp Daddy Doro. Yes, every time I read a book, I end up thinking about that man too. Cat Daddy, the original. Okay,
That's
back
so
in biblical
funny.
days, out here pimping hoes and stealing souls. You know what I'm saying?
Immortal.
Immortal, pimping hoes and stealing souls. That man was
Yep.
getting it. Okay,
Yep.
man, and his lineage just still going. Seriously, Doro was one of the best antagonists written ever. Yes, he
Just
was.
such a powerful character. Like
Hmm.
abilities wise and written, like the way he was descripted, his tone, the way he spoke, his actions, like
All of it.
good character.
All of it. Doro was the best, and I can't believe I'm saying that. I can't believe you're saying that, Jessica. I cannot. I cannot. I yeah, Doro has played a special part in my heart this year so far. He has given me it was giving what it needed to be gave. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
he was it. Like he was if I could write a sci-fi book, it would be an immortal who could live forever by just taking people. He ain't no punk bitch. He was out there like talk shit and I'm gonna take your body from you. I'm not even gonna kill you. I'm just gonna take it and you gonna disappear. Like you
Right.
out.
Right.
I'm not gonna shoot you. I'm not gonna fight you. I'm just gonna snatch you up. Literally. And I'm gonna go have about 10 kids with this body over here. Okay? Man, that to me is insane.
Wild.
Insane. Playsack was good. I felt disjointed. The rest of the stories worked together. It wasn't until I read Pattermaster that Clay's art fit for me. Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
And it did seem like every book had its own, like this Clay's Arc and Pattermaster, definitely seemed like a series. But when you read Clay's Arc and you didn't read Pattermaster, it's like, okay, where did these people come from? Like,
Right.
this is a whole different series feeling type, but Wild Seed and Mind of My Mind, we knew flowed into each other just a few hundred years later. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, it definitely seems like two separate series, but if knowing that Patternmaster was first and she just like broke it down from there, that now it makes sense. Like
Yeah.
now it because at first I thought like Clay's Arc and Patternmaster, I was like, okay, those two books go together. That could be its own series. I mean, they did mention Dora, but it was so brief and it was gone.
Hmm.
But yeah, I get the whole like, here's this book, and then three other books came from this.
Yep.
So
She did so well. Like Pattermaster's not my favorite, but what she created from Pattermaster is
Mm,
my favorite.
right. That's a. I like how you put that. Say what you want about Dora, but nobody wants smoke with him at all,
No, no.
ever, ever. No, no, I didn't. But yeah, don't nobody want to. Don't nobody look. Don't mess with him. Stay in your
No.
place. And still, the women around him was a lot smarter than him.
Yep.
But still, he was head honcho in charge. Okay, all the time. So yeah, next book is going to be Bloodchild and Other Stories. So, which one do you have? Do you have this one?
No. I have the Seven Stories Press one.
The fancy one.
Yeah. But I might buy that one just because I have two copies of each, and I have one copy that I like to keep on the shelf and not touch, and
Mm-hmm.
then one copy that I read and I put my little
Gotcha.
stickers in.
Okay.
I
What do
can't
you
wait to read
think?
Speech Sounds again. Speech Sounds. It's gonna be so good.
I can't wait. I'm enjoying, and I think knowing we're gonna jump into this, then we're gonna jump into Parable series. Then we're going to do Fledgling, I believe. Let me double check. Yep, Fledgling, and then Dawn. I don't even know what that series is called, but we have
Xenogenesis.
yep that one,
Hmm.
and then we jump into Kindred.
Yep.
Um, and so it's going to be uphill, you know, from here at least. I mean, none of her books are downhill. None of her books are,
Yeah.
bad. Um, I'm just glad we're doing this together. So, because I could
Me
not
too.
do this by myself. Like,
I'm glad we're doing this together. I'm so happy to talk about Octavia Butler. You're so
mm,
cool to hang out with. Everyone's so
mm,
funny in the chat.
everyone is so funny.
Parables is tough. So when we get to that one, I I've listened to that once. This will be my second time listening to most of all her works.
Hmm.
So I'm just excited to see how I feel about them the second time around.
We'll do it together.
Yep.
We'll do it together. I do want a buddy read.
Okay. I would love to do that.
Whatever book you decide, I'm here. I'm always reading anyway.
I was thinking The Wishing Pool by Tanana Reeve. Did you finish it already?
No, but I was gonna
Okay.
start it.
Okay.
I was gonna, I've been
Okay.
like, it's been looking at me, and I've been looking at it, and it's been looking at me, and I look at it, and then I give him the eye, and I'm like, I have a TBR. I can't cheat on my TBR, but it'd be looking at me, and I'd be looking at it, and so I'll be like,
Yeah.
yeah, I want to. I can't wait till Tanana Reeve next book come out, Reformatory,
Yes.
I believe.
I have that on my wish list.
Oh, I can't
I'm
wait.
excited.
I can't wait. All right. Well, I mean, do you have any final thoughts on Pattermaster?
um no, I hope overall everybody liked the series as a whole, even if Pattern Master wasn't their favorite.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to get to Bloodchild with you guys to hear about your guys' opinion about the stories. And I'm gonna have my highlights ready.
Yeah. Yeah. I I completely agree. If you are joining us with reading Octavia Butler, do not let this deter you if you like it or did not like it. Do not let this deter you from reading her. This is not a slow paced read along that we're doing. We are reading Octavia, which is hard to read emotionally and to unpack every single month. So I really hope that us doing this together, and I wish I had the technical ability to like create some type of group that we could just sit and talk about it throughout the month. But I don't know about Discord and like doing all of that stuff so we can, because I feel like emotionally we're gonna dive into books that hit harder emotionally
Yeah.
um later on this year, and I want to be able to be there for you guys. Of course, every Wednesday, Sunday, like we're doing sprints and we'll sit and talk about it. We talk about hard issues every single week. We talk about just social injustice, just issues in general, political crap, like all types of things we talk about during the week. But we're gonna dive into some hard hitting books for the rest of the year. I really
Mm-hmm.
hope that you guys stick with us. Okay, stick with us. Okay, I'm not gonna let you down. You need somebody to talk to, you can always message me. I might not get to it during the work day, because I do gotta work. Okay, we gotta pay the bills. But stick with us. Continue reading Octavia. Hopefully, she impacts you, whether it's her as just a writer in general, the story, um, and then we'll dive deeper into the stories that were in and unpack them a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you guys for coming, Maya. Thank you.
Thank
Gotta
you.
join me on some sprints again.
I would love to.
You just gotta show up.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, yeah.
I'll drop a link for you. You just
Yeah, okay. YouTube
yeah.
YouTube does me dirty because it never alerts me, even though I have alerts turned on.
Yeah. YouTube be playing all the
Yeah.
time. All the time. So if you ever wanna do anything, let me know. But
Okay.
thank you guys um for coming. I really appreciate it. Oh, maybe we should do a group on Instagram.
Oh yeah.
We could do that. Um, I don't know. Let me know whatever you guys want to do. Not everybody is on this Instagram, and I understand that. But if you want to, let me know. Maybe I'll see if I can create like a free membership YouTube thing too, because I
Oh,
think we can chat on that too. So I'll look into it and see. But again, I know it's going to be a emotionally impactful the rest of the year.
yeah.
Um, but I appreciate you guys sticking with us and reading with us as well. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And we will see you guys. I will see you guys tomorrow on Brandy Sprints. And then I will be having sprints on Sunday. Um, and we'll talk about blood trial next month. So
Yep.
thank you again. And you guys have a wonderful night. Good
Bye.
night.